Motel back here with another video. Thank you for joining me. I felt compelled to share with you all another one of my latest acquisitions. Now, I'm sure the majority of people tuning into this video are Power Ranger fans, but please be honest with yourselves. Were you aware that back in 1997, a dedicated Power Rangers Zeo magazine existed? There's no denying it. There it is. Issue number 6. From what I understand, there were 10 issues. I could be wrong. Information just doesn't seem to be readily available on these, so I could absolutely be wrong. For someone like me who grew up with magazines, I feel like it's definitely safe to say that they reached the height of their popularity. And magazines now kind of feel like a bygone era of sorts. Long gone are the days of grabbing the newest issue of Mad and just passing the time on a Sunday evening. And I know what you're saying. Motel, you're a toy guy. What does this have to do with toys? We're collecting magazines now? Allow me to explain. Prepare for your mind to be blown. I don't know. Maybe you'll probably just think, hey, that's pretty neat. Check it out. Look what came with all these magazines. Free, 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 right there at the top. Free Power Rangers Zeo collectible figure. Now, like I said, there's not too much information online about these, but from what I understand, there were 10 issues, 9 of which had free figures included. My understanding, it was the 5 original Zeo Rangers, plus the Gold Ranger, and then you had 3 monsters, so my math is telling me there were 9 figures total. Somebody could certainly prove me wrong, but that's what I believe at this point. So just for the record, this is not the only figure that I own from this series. I have been able to collect a couple more, so we will take a look at those. But first we got to flip through this magazine and see what I can only assume most of us missed. These magazines were released exclusively in Europe, and then I think Australia as well. Again, I could be wrong, but they were definitely not in the United States. So without further ado, let's take a closer look. Look at this. This issue features everybody's favorite character, Louie Kaboom. Horrible villain. Very annoying, very short tenure, didn't really add too much to the plot, felt very forced. But here he is. He's got his own magazine issue. And actually, this is part 1. Apparently, he's got a whole nother issue too. Just like, check these out. Come on, where's Louie Kaboom? Oh yeah, there he is. They certainly made him look a lot cooler in this book. That's for sure. Power Rangers Zeo magazine. And there she is, Zeo Ranger number 2. Yellow. I'm fairly certain that this is not the Ranger that came with the magazine, but looks like it was like scotch taped on here. It still looks pretty cool, and it gives you the basic idea of what this was supposed to look like. Looking at it now, very jealous. Would have loved to have this back in the day as a kid. Glad to have it now, but yeah, I would have been totally sold on just getting a free figure with my magazine. But yeah, I mean, check out the artwork. Look at this, dude. The Rangers fighting Louie Kaboom. Look at this, plus a free poster. Oh, baby. And if I'm not mistaken, there are 3 mini comics in here. So, without further ado, let's crack it open and check it out. Hi kids, Zeo Ranger 3 here, welcoming you to Power Rangers Zeo magazine. Well, thank you. Happy to be here. Contents: Twinkle Twinkle Little Staroid, the comics we're talking about here. Then Power Crazy Part 1, so that's Louie Kaboom's debut issue. Plus Robot Ranger, that's Prince Sprocket turning Zeo Ranger number 2 into a robot. Plus more activities, games, and puzzles. And a free pull-out poster. They're really selling that poster. So I did read through all the comics, and like I said, this is featuring Staroid. It's basically Queen Machina gets this idea to put the robot monsters into cereal boxes as toy prizes. Look at that artwork, man. That's so cool. It's just cool that people took the time to put this together. Really, really neat. Look at that, they drew Bulk and Skull. They really didn't do Bulk any favors here. And you could draw your monster here. That's supposed to be Billy, an alpha, cleaning up busted up robot parts all over the beach. Look at that. That's called Power Ranger Zeo Power Pinup. The Boo-Hoo Clown. Look at that, man. You can just rip that out, frame it up. Look up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Look, and if you couldn't tell that it's Zeo Zord number 5, you could flip the book around, get your answer, and just cheat. Little word mix up here. Then you got the main event, Power Crazy, Part 1. Look at that. Rita and Zed in the RV. Introducing Louie Kaboom. Baha, take that, Zeo Rangers. And Rita, Queen Machina, what babes. Oh, and then they quiz you after. Hope you're paying attention. Who created Louie Kaboom? Hamana, 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 hamana. Gotta reread it. Look, that's supposed to be Steve Cardenas. Power Rangers Zeo scrapbook. I love this. No matter how dumb this content is, it's just like so cool to see all this stuff illustrated out like this. I love it. Love these pictures. Check it out. The poster. I'll get a good shot of that. I'll unfold that. You got some mazes. I love that they have to put like exposition in here. It's like this little stupid game. Rita wants to put a pair of Louie's goggles on, but which of the 7 here is the odd one out? What does that have to do with you wanting to wear them, Rita? Just pop one on. Make your own power chamber. So this is part of what I like here. Actually, it's making you buy other issues, because I guess this is something that is like part 3. Because it's like you have the console, you have Zordon's column, and now you have the backdrop for that. So you need the other issues to make the power chamber. But still, I think that's a cool draw. I would have liked this. Man, I would have loved this. I really wish I could just like tear this out. But I gotta track down the other issues. And I do not have disposable income like that to justify making a 30-year-old cardboard cutout power chamber. Look at that. I love the U.S. You can like make out Florida and some of California. Oh, look at this. Beetleborgs. As awful as that show is, I love it. Here's the third and final comic. Robot Ranger. I believe the story goes that Prince Sprocket has a crush on the Yellow Ranger, but the only problem is that she's human, so he's got to turn her into a robot. Wonder if he succeeds. And there's Mechanizer. That's cool. More mazes. Planetary puzzle. Look at that. You got Edenoi on here. That's pretty sick. Aquitar. Love that. I guess that's supposed to be Jason. Yeah, Jason has to travel through space to meet with the alien rangers. Oh, look, a page for coloring. Unleash the Cull-Hour. I love all you guys across the pond. And look, here were little kids' submissions. Or adults, who knows. Could have been a full-grown adult that did that picture. Oh no, Jaden Compson, age 5. There you go, Jaden. Good job. Unleash the power, a special Power Rangers Zeo offer. Every reader who has a drawing, letter, or photo printed in the Power Chamber pages will receive an Amstrad personal stereo. Free! Look at that. Anybody still got theirs? Jaden, you got yours? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Another power pinup of Louie Kaboom. Is that pulled from the show, or is this behind the scenes? Because that totally looks like a crew member. More submissions. And here you go. Next issue. Number 7. Lucky you. This is Louie Kaboom blasting my way into next issue. Boom, boom. They're really trying to sell us on Louie Kaboom. then a little mini comic of Clank and Orbis. It's all about Clank and how embarrassed he is. He's got rust spots on his face. I didn't know he was so vain. There you have it. Closer look. I don't think I'm going to be looking for any more of these. If the opportunity presents itself and maybe I get some more figures out of it, I might consider it, but I'm certainly not going to be seeking any more of these out. Even as desperate as I am to figure out how the Louis Kaboom saga concludes, I might never know. As I said, I do have some more of these, so kind of see. There's Zeo Ranger number 3, blue. And all the Rangers are in the same position, just sort of standing there stoically. There's Zeo Ranger Pink, number 1, Zeo Ranger 1. Then you got the villain figures, which they didn't really go crazy with villain figures, but they put out some decent ones. So you got this little tiny baby Silo figure. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Very reminiscent of the 5-inch Bandai figure that came out, but still, it's a little PVC figure. And then also you've got the Drill Master, everybody's favorite. I mean, they really went all out with details on the monsters here compared to the Ranger figures. Yeah, love this little thing. And then third, and what I believe to be final monster figure that got released, the Mechanizer. I mean, again, it's cool that they're here. I think it's a little underwhelming because all 3 of these guys had standard releases in the 5-inch Bandai line. So it's not like we're breaking crazy ground here, but I would just imagine that there's a bunch of people out there that just don't even know these exist. Something to hunt for, something to keep your eye out for. In terms of, scaling, other than the Zeo figures that came in the line as well. But even then, the Zeo figures kind of tower over these guys. So the Power Rangers and the monsters don't even look good together, especially the Drill Master. Drill Master is half their height. It's ridiculous. Sadly enough, I think the figures that scale best with these are those 2 little random die-cast figures that Jada Toys put out, the Gold Ranger and randomly Zeo Ranger number 4, the Green Ranger. They just randomly released them in that large set, and I've always been hoping that they'd release another set where you get the full team. It doesn't look like they are, because it's been years. They kind of scale well with them. If you do a little bit of forced perspective, they look pretty decent next to them. So in a way, it's kind of nice because it's you kind of found those 2 little figures a home. I've always just felt so bad for those 2 figures. I'm just what? They got no villains to stand next to. What are you guys doing here? All right, guys. Well, there's your look at a completely random magazine pack-in toy line of Power Rangers Zeo figures. Keep your eyes peeled for these. I've had to import this stuff over the years, and it hasn't been too kind on my wallet on the import fees. So collect, but be responsible. That's going to do it for this video. This is Motel, and I will see you in the next one.